Chris, I've been eating so much of this popcorn that I need something to wash it down with, really quench my thirst. Have you had this Bedlam Vodka?
Yeah, Bedlam Vodka. It's real good. It's rice vodka, and it's smooth. Like, sometimes vodka can be like a little crazy, and like you don't want to drink it, but like this is smooth. This is real good stuff.
Who makes Bedlam Vodka?
It's actually a distillery in North Carolina. They do a really great job. It's Greybeard. They're fantastic. But people might know this. Jason Derulo. This is his vodka.
Jason Derulo of The Music by Jason Derulo?
Yes, Jason, the very same. Jason Derulo.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Let's give it a shot. That's good vodka.
Yeah.
Today, after taking that really good shot, I'm energized to talk about cinema. We're going to be talking about the film Back to School.
Guess who's getting some class? I'm going to college. Rodney Dangerfield's going back to school.
One of Rodney Dangerfield's, not his most famous, because we know what that is, but one of the more famous films that he starred in, where he goes back to school to try to kind of inspire his son to finish college. And while I'm talking about the plot, I'm just going to say outright, this movie has no plot. This movie has no fucking plot. It is outrageous, but it does not mean I did not like it.
Yeah.
But that is the first thing I want to say is this movie has no story.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll just kind of piggyback off of that and say it's another Chicago movie. I'm convinced it's another Chicago movie. We don't really know it's a Chicago movie, but you have Grand Lakes State University, which is actually filmed at Madison, UW-Madison. And there's a line in the thing where he's learning Greek. And he says, the only Greek I know is the guy who sold coffee to me on State Street. And the fact that he's able to drive a limo to go visit his son, I'm convinced it's a Chicago movie.
I mean, it makes sense because it's filmed at Madison, and a lot of people from the Chicago area go to Madison.
Yeah.
So,
Chicago movie. I'm just going to say it, Chicago movie.
Anything's a Chicago movie if you try hard enough.
Well, maybe it's like a sandwich, right? Like anything's a sandwich.
Really.
Anything's a Chicago movie.
Yeah, everything's just more Chicago-y than other Chicago movies.
Sure.
But like I was saying, this movie has no plot, and it doesn't bother me, in part because it's Rodney Dangerfield, who I think is hilarious, and it's somebody that, like, his career I think about a lot, just because he wasn't really famous until his 60s. He was like, he had a normal job. Mm-hmm. He blows me away. And like, same thing kind of in Caddyshack, more so in this movie. He's playing himself.
Yeah,
it's just his opportunity to get jokes in, get some yucks in. It's just like 90 minutes, however long it is. It's not very long, I don't think, of him just like telling his yucks, telling his one-liners, doing his personality coming through. There's absolutely no point to the movie other than Rodney Dangerfield telling jokes.
Literally what I said, a full-length Rodney Dangerfield joke.
Yes,
that is literally what it is.
And that doesn't bother me. It's like, it's kind of stupid. But because it's him, I don't think it bothers me.
No, yeah.
And other people have done this. I not quite to this regard, but Adam Sandler, like, making Grown Ups and Grown Ups 2 is literally him and his buddies having a chance to make jokes at each other.
Oh God, my leg, Steph! Oh my God, the bone's sticking out! God, I need help! It's a stick! I got you! Very good.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
if you're famous enough, you can pull it off.
Sure, why not? Yeah, absolutely. Just as a quick note about this movie, you have a couple of typecast characters in this movie. You have Paulie from the Rocky movies.
Girls, this is Lou. Lou, these are girls.
Playing a scummy dude, typecast as scummy dude, and Billy Zabka as a douchebag.
Yeah.
You'll always be a crude, obnoxious, nouveau riche little flebe.
Right? Both of them typecast. Although I do have to wonder, is Billy Zabka typecast as a cuck? Because think about his character in this movie with the girl, right? And he loses the girl. He gets cucked by Rodney Dangerfield's son. And then think about Karate Kid, right? With the other girl, where he's cucked by Ralph Macchio. So Billy Zabka,
big time cuck.
Typecast cuck.
That's a good point. I was going to point out the other note on the cast, a young Robert Downey Jr.
Huh?
And I was watching this movie. I watched this movie for the first time like a month ago. Well, I don't know when you're watching this or listening to this. I watched it recently, and I'm hearing him talk, and I'm watching him. I'm like, that's somebody. Who is that? And at first I thought it was like a bunch of names popped into my head who it might be. I'm like, I have no idea who it is, but I know this is somebody. And I looked up the cast, and sure enough, Robert Downey Jr. That blew my mind.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's no better way to be classy Robert Downey Jr., which epitomizes Robert Downey Jr. in the 80s. No, it's jumping ahead, but in the party scene where he does the do me, the do me thing.
Maybe this will cheer you up.
Oh, do me!
Derek, get up, will you? You look like the poster boy for birth control.
Right, like totally classy Robert Downey Jr. like that. But I mean, it was one of his first movies. He'd been in other things too, but this is one of his first movies. And one of the first really big ones for him.
Yeah, and it is really big because of Dangerfield really carrying the movie. Now, I've already discussed ad nauseum how there's really no plot, and you mentioned how it's just one big Rodney Dangerfield joke. But to get into what of a plot there is, the timeline is insane. I don't understand the timeline at all. Like, the time shifting in this movie is crazy. All of a sudden, Rodney Dangerfield's graduating at the end of the movie, and it feels like he's been in school for 3 days.
Oh, no. They said this is the first time we've had a freshman give the commencement speech.
Yeah, but that made no sense. Like, it was just, I don't know. The whole, I'm watching it at the end, and he's up there giving the commencement speech. I'm like, what the hell? I thought I missed something. I thought he'd did I miss a year go by? Did I miss
Oh, we just kind of jump ahead, that didn't bother me as much. That sets the scene for all these other commencement speeches, right? In Legally Blonde or in Billy Madison, where they all give kind of speeches at the end to kind of.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned Billy Madison. Just to close the loop on that, it just didn't seem like he did enough in college to be giving the commencement. It didn't make any. I couldn't wrap my head around the whole thing of why.
Well, I understand it because his character is affable. Everybody loves him.
Absolutely.
He is a regular dude. He's in the hallway with the guy that's fixing up the dorms and everything. And he's a regular dude. He's cool. He's down to earth. Everybody likes him. That's why I think that makes sense to me. It kind of in the vein of Van Wilder, right?
Yeah.
Everybody likes him.
Who, me?
No.
I get it, but you're going to tell me that makes sense also?
Oh, fuck no, it doesn't make sense.
Billy Madison. So I've seen that movie a gazillion times. More of my generation. Is Billy Madison just a thinly veiled retread of Back to School?
I'm never coming back to school! Never!
Oh, absolutely. I've thought that on numerous occasions.
I thought that when I was watching Back to School.
There are a lot of different types of movies that kind of fall in line with one another, and Back to School and Billy Madison, same type of thing.
That's nice!
And he gets away with it, and he gets away with it kind of Billy Madison gets away with kind of paying homage to Back to School.
Shitter!
It's different enough that I think it's not a ripoff, but it's a very similar kind of humor, and I don't know if you have Billy Madison without this movie.
I am the smartest man alive!
But he's ahead of his time because he does mention in the class with the business professor about having to, grease the politicians and go and grease the unions in order to get everything done.
You're going to have to grease the local politicians for the sudden zoning problems that always come up. Then there's the kickbacks to the carpenters. And if you plan on using any cement in this building, I'm sure the Teamsters like to have a little chat with you, and that'll cost you. Oh, and don't forget a little something for the building inspectors. Then there's a long-term cost, such as waste disposal. I don't know if you're familiar with who runs that business, but I assure you it's not the Boy Scouts.
That'll be quite enough.
He's ahead of his time.
This is another Chicago reference.
Yeah.
This is why it's a Chicago movie.
It's a Chicago movie simply because of that.
Yeah, and that's a giveaway that he was from Chicago. If you don't know what the movie's about when you're watching at the beginning, and it's him fighting with his soon-to-be ex-wife, and his ex-wife banging the butler or whatever, you really don't know what's going on in this movie.
No, but again, it's just a Rodney Dangerfield movie. But I would like to say, in that first scene, I would totally eat the shit out of that sandwich that he made. Do you remember the sandwich that he makes?
Vaguely, yeah.
He walks up to the table and it's all these nice little finger foods and everything, and he just takes this loaf of bread, slices it in half, shoves deviled eggs and all kinds of stuff in it.
I hate small food, you know.
Do you know who the band is that's playing at his party in the dorm?
No, but just tell me.
So the band is Oingo Boingo. Okay, which is...
Did they say that in the movie?
Yeah, they had a big thing behind them on the... do you know who the lead singer of Oingo Boingo was?
No.
Danny Elfman. Danny Elfman of Batman fame, of music score fame, headed up Oingo Boingo. Like, it just blow your mind, right?
Yeah.
Like, he was the head of Oingo Boingo, and then, like, he went on to score Batman and The Nightmare Before Christmas and all of these movies that are super famous and popular. It is weird how that happened.
That is very weird.
He scored this movie, too. So, just so you're...
I didn't...
kind of...
I don't think the music had enough of an impression on me to...
That's 80s
even
music,
think about
so,
it, yeah.
You know. And then another fact is Rodney Dangerfield, at the time he made this movie, had a sponsorship deal with Miller. And so throughout the entire movie, there was only Miller products.
That's interesting.
So like you see, you see Miller Lite and you see High Life in the movie. And like those are the only beers that you see throughout the movie. I think it also does a great job of kind of poking fun at academia because like the whole thing with he gets Kurt Vonnegut to write his paper for him. And then the professor's like, whoever this is doesn't know anything about Kurt Vonnegut. And it's like, yeah, he fucking does because he's Kurt Vonnegut. So professors, you're full of shit. Like that's kind of one of the takeaways. Like, because you get these professors like thinking about going back to college, right? And they like think they know like everything about whatever subject it is they're teaching. It's like clear that sometimes you don't fucking know what the hell.
That's what these movies do a great job of. We've talked about like Animal House before, which we'll probably do eventually. They always do a great job of poking fun of academia by either making like the college dean the villain or making these professors just look kind of stupid.
Yeah, for sure. And then a couple of things that I just want to point out is like when Rodney Dangerfield gets up and he dives.
I was going to bring
or
this up,
actually like the part where his son dives, right? And it's the like most simplistic dive ever. And they're cheering like it's the best fucking thing they've ever seen. Are you fucking kidding me right now?
Well,
they're cheering for the worst fucking thing ever.
Well, that's what I was going to bring up is this movie makes diving / swimming seem cool, which is like it's you have people like jammed into this diving meet.
Yeah.
This is the only movie to do that, but I don't know if this was intentional, but it's kind of funny that they picked diving.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not cool. I mean, it's kind of cool in the Olympics, and you see people do I can't do that.
One last thing I want to just mention is, I talk about Billy Zabka playing the typecast cuck. I gotta ask, did Rodney Dangerfield cuck his business professor?
Yeah, he absolutely did.
No,
he did.
Or I'm gonna throw another thing out there. Are they swingers?
No, because the professor is pretty pissed about the whole.
Well, he's a little bit pissed about it. But he's so nonchalant about he says, well, what do you see in that guy? So that's what leads me to think maybe there's a swinger arrangement, but he doesn't like Rodney Dangerfield as the English professor's love interest.
Yeah.
But maybe there's a swinger thing going on, but definitely for sure he's definitely cucking the shit out of the business
I think
professor.
he just could be so cucky that he doesn't have enough self-worth to think this is awful, and he's just what do you see in that? He's such a cuck that he has no self-worth at all. It's a very cucky movie. Now
yeah, for sure. I mean, in the comments, please let us know. What do you think? Is the business professor a cuck, or is he part of the swinger relationship? I'd like to know what you think.
It's a classic cuck or swinger question.
Cuck or swinger? That's I often ask myself that question.
I think I'm really torn on this one because we mentioned like Billy Madison being similar and like other movies being of the same vein. I enjoyed it. This came out before my time, and I just saw it in the year 2020, and I still enjoyed it. But I think that's because I like Rodney Dangerfield. I don't know if the kids these days know much about Rodney Dangerfield unless they've seen Caddyshack. So I'm really torn on this one because I think that whole college admissions thing is hilarious.
Oh, it's for sure hilarious.
I think it is so fucking funny.
Look, this is going to be one of those ones that I'm throwing in difference because I love this movie. Like, whether or not it can be made today, I'm not sure. So I'm just going like this.
So we're going to do guess the IMDb score. Do you want to go first?
Sure. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say, because I just have a feeling that a lot of people didn't necessarily like this movie. And so I'm going to go like 6.5.
I'm in the same ballpark. I think, like, when I saw this movie, my dad told me, like, he hyped it up. He's like, this is a hilarious movie. You've never seen this. You couldn't believe I'd never seen it before. So I think it has kind of a cult thing. I'm going to go just a tad bit higher. I'm going to go 6.8.
6.7. Damn! Well, can't we play the Price is Right rules or something like that where you go above?
No.
Damn it. All right, well, there you have it. Back to school. Yeah. Watch it. It's a good movie. I think you're going to like it.
It's a solid 6.7.
Damn it.